My name is Rafe Williams. I am a stand-up comedian from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm going to be sitting here answering questions from this fishbowl. All right, I'm going to pull, just to show you it's not rigged, just to show you this is totally spontaneity. First question. What would be the most embarrassing way to die within the confines of your average day? I think I actually know this because when I had my first general meeting with Comedy Central, I got food poisoning at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in LA, and I was a young comedian, not a lot of money, much like now. Stayed at a hotel that was the grossest hotel I've ever stayed at in my life. Later found out it was a hotel in LA on the Sunset Strip that they give homeless people vouchers to stay in to get them off the street, but I got it on booking.com. Thanks a lot, booking.com. I had explosive diarrhea and was throwing up into a trash can in a hotel that had mold on the shower, and I was like, this is my Lenny Bruce moment. But instead of finding me in a nice hotel with a heroin needle sticking out of my arm like some sexy rock and roll star, I'm going to be laying face down, covered in my own shit and vomit. And I think that would be the most embarrassing way to die. Either that or just choking on a chicken bone, which I also could see happening to me. Mix them up. I'm sure this is great for the audio. All right, let's pull another one and see what we get. Let's do orange. What is the hottest and least hottest name you've ever heard? We had a neighbor named Blade, and that was his God-given name. And I was like, that's pretty cool, right? Like, there's only a few occupations you can have with that name, right? Like bartender, hitman, American Gladiator. You're not going to go to H&R Block and be like, hey, I'm Blade. I think I can handle all your write-offs for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, that guy, that's a cool name. As far as not hot names, there's a lot of them. I actually worry about that sometimes because I feel like when names kind of come and go around, and I'm worried that like we've kind of taken like all the cool fake stripper names, like Anastasia and Savannah and all these cool exotic names have all been used up. So now, but people actually are naming their kids that. I'm scared of what like stripper names are gonna be in the future, because it's gonna be like, now coming to stage 5, it's Mildred and Beatrice, like that's gonna be gross and weird, right? Some names have come back around, like George. There's a lot of like traditional names coming back around, but there's a few that haven't. I think Adolf probably is never coming back. I don't see a lot of Adolfs coming back. That's not a hot name. It's not. At one time it was, but I would like to see if Adolf and Blade did a podcast, I'd listen to it. Pick another. All right, let's see here. I'll do green. Here's a question from the 800-pound gorilla podcast trailer. What would you do with 30 minutes left to live? A tight 29. I mean, if you're gonna know you're gonna die, what a rad way to go! Just on stage and be like, do your closer, and instead of thank you, good night, you just die of congestive heart failure and fall off the stage, and they're like, that guy loved comedy. Like, I may never be famous, but I'd be famous for that. My girlfriend is here. She says I'm horny like a 14-year-old boy, and that I would probably try to fuck for the last 30 minutes. Now, the problem with that is there would be some time left over. I'm going to be honest. There's going to be some time to reflect after the fact. All right, here we go. Let's do a red one. Pokemon. I feel like I'm going to be like, Charizard. YouTube. What are the unwritten rules of the comedy industry? I wish I fucking knew, because I would follow them, and I would not have to stay on other comedians' couches when I go from town to town. Be nice and kind, which I think is a general good rule in life. 2 is work hard and write. There's really no shortcut it's like any other business. You got to have good relationships and you got to work hard. Opportunities will only work out if you've done the work and are ready for them. And the third thing is be willing to sleep with anyone at any time. And do whatever you have to do to make it in this business, because it's dog eat dog, and we have to claw each other's eyes out in order to be successful. So the best thing you can do rather than work on your comedy is just talk shit about other comedians, spread rumors about sexual improprieties and things like that could catch fire and possibly get them canceled, making more room for you at the top of the pile. Okay, let's do it. I'm going in for this one. I feel like I'm in a dentist's office. I just got my cavities filled. All right, internet, YouTube. Oh, this is interesting. What is the funniest joke you know by heart? I'm trying to think of like a street joke that stuck with me. When I used to be in school, there was no internet. You learned stuff from the older kids. That was the internet that's how you learned curse words. Like, you didn't even know what they meant yet. You couldn't there was no Urban Dictionary or anything like that. So sometimes you might hear a joke before you should have heard it, And in first grade, a girl was kicking the back of my bus seat. I was like, I'm about to roast this. I'm about to roast her. If she kicks my seat one more time, I'm going to break this. I got a word, and I have been saving it, and I'm going to bust it out on her. And she kicked my seat, and I turned around, and I was like, hey, if you don't stop kicking my seat, I'm going to give you a blowjob. And the bus driver heard me and was like, hey, do you even know what that word means? And I was like, I don't know, it's a bad word. You know, and she's like, go home and ask your mom what it means. And then years later, I realized, fuck that bus driver. Why do you think my mom is an expert on blowjobs? You know what I mean? Like, that kind of roasted my mom a little bit. It pissed me off. This is cool. This is fun.